We're back here at the desk, and it is time to get ready for our final match of the day. Jacob's already clapping. We're all excited because this one's going to be a fun one. Mirage has played better than ever this year, or this stage rather. Better than they have all year this stage. Their opponents, Xset, playing great. 2-0-2 right now, so kind of at a crossroads. I feel like both of these teams, to a certain extent, are at a crossroads. They both need a win. They both want to get to that major.
Yeah, we're trying to see Mirage go for the most wins they've had in a stage since getting third place back in 2021, stage 1. Wow. It's been a really long time, but they are on this rebuild phase. And again, they're taking advantage of the fact that both OXG and Beast Coast, teams that should have been doing way better, aren't doing nearly as hot. So the fact that they are even in 6th place is nice. They were up in as high as 4th and 3rd so far at different points for the stage. Meanwhile, for Xset, they've never been that fantastic of a team domestically, so seeing them here might seem weird, but I still have high hopes that they'll crack into top 4 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, like you said, Mirage hasn't done this good since Hot and Cold was on the team.
Yep.
So,
There you go.
I wasn't going to say that bluntly, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think this stage, they got on the right track. They got all the players they need. They have the structure they needed. And I think this is the real Mirage lineup.
Xset, I think, a little behind where we were expecting them to be. 4 games in. They're only 2-2. This is the team that went into the playoffs of both majors we've had this year. They've looked very, very good. I think they play the meta pretty well in terms of their play style. But yeah, attacks have been strong. Defenses maybe a little bit lacking so far in these first 4 games. So we'll see what they can do against a Mirage team.
Which is interesting because earlier this year they were quite good on defense.
Yes, they were.
It's an interesting bit of a change, too, and I think Xset, to a certain extent, is dealing with a similar situation that teams like Astralis are, right? Which they got by on their gunfighting, right? They got by on being really, really good 1v1 players, really good at hitting those shots. A lot of the league has caught up, whether through trades or whether through just kind of adapting to the new meta with LMGs kind of getting changed and all that. So Xset finds themselves in that position, too, where you got to at least keep up, definitely want to adapt and continue to stay with that one step ahead, but that's not easy.
Yeah, I talked a little bit with Diaz about kind of what the struggles have been, and especially on defense, it does feel like sometimes we're seeing some of the more aggressive players like Spirits, like Gomez, kind of falling earlier in the round, and he's attributed that to them not playing as aggressive as they have in scrims or as they have in previous stages. So if they can kind of fix that, change that around a little bit, that might be something for them to bounce back with and finally have a couple more successes on the defensive half.
Exactly. Well, let's dive into the teams themselves a little bit more. First, I think we're going to talk about Mirage, and to get that started, we got a little bit of a video to explore kind of the thoughts coming into the stage and what they've been thinking since then.
Left against Rampy, he swings, and Dexter will have his revenge. First round goes in favor of Mirage.
I'd say for the roster changes coming to this stage, it's depending on how you see it, I think the greatest improvement is actually probably Mirage, because I think they went from basically the clear-cut bottom team of NA to I think they can compete now with this new lineup.
Bolt's just moving around. He'll see the smoke, but Mo has so much faith in the shotgun. What the hell is this match so far? Mirage up 2-0.
The biggest surprise to me, or biggest team that's had the biggest surprise is definitely Mirage. I did expect them to do pretty solid just based off their roster. I knew all the players. I knew Mirage would be pretty good. I'm still shocked they're doing as good as they are, but I'm glad to see them doing so. I'm really good friends with a few of them, so love to see it.
The team that's surprising me the most this stage is probably Mirage. I think they made great changes over the offseason that fits better into their play style. They're able to kind of have this upset thing this season, this stage, compared to the last 2 stages.
Melted, an incredible play! How does he do it? Good Lord! Clutching out for Mirage.
Mirage has been looking pretty good, but we're not worried. They're a great team, but I think against bigger teams like us, they're gonna fumble.
I'd say we're just coming into the games with a lot more confidence, having fun. Those are 2 elements that I was really emphasizing during the offseason, and I know everybody has really been preaching, let's just come into these games, let's have some fun, guys. Let's not stress out about every little detail. We know that we're good, let's just show it. We continue to hammer out the kinks of every single strat every single day, so we're just gonna keep looking to do that, keep looking to improve, and improvement is just our #1 focus.
I I think the story of Mirage in this stage has been really great to watch too, because not only from the team side of things, they have a good attitude coming into all this, just focus, like we just saw the coach say, on improvement, not necessarily trying to win a major, blah, blah, blah. You just want to do better. And also the attitude towards the team from the other teams in the league. I think everybody's just kind of happy to have a stronger opponent to play against.
Yeah, I don't think Mirage are a bad team, and it's nice to be able to say that. No, I mean, I think now they need to kind of push it to the next level, right? They don't look like necessarily a top 4 team yet, but they look like they finally got some more of the basics figured out. You go back to that last game, of course, losing 7 rounds in a row after being up 6-1. We can analyze that to death. We can talk about players that didn't show up. We can talk about stat trends that didn't go their way. But ultimately, that doesn't happen unless your mental gets kicked off a little bit, unless something's going wrong internally kind of with your comms or with your attitude. So I think it's those kind of little things that Mirage, like, sure, they're a good team, they can make the plays, but it's like, how do you push it to that next step?
It's not a hot take to say that they should be 3-1 right now. I think Space Station really dug deep. They had a 6th gear that traditionally Space Station usually has, but in that game, because it was such a wide margin and they had a 5-1 half on that on Chalet, Mirage should already have another win under their belt. They should be way higher in the standings right now, and they're capitalizing on a lot of this early momentum that comes from when you have so many roster changes happening all at the same time. Teams don't immediately know how to react to you, or if you adapt, how exactly you adapt so that you can be counter-adapted against. That kind of thing is what Mirage seems like they're feeding on at the minute. And when you have an opportunity like this, you have to take it for all that it's worth. You have to go the distance, and you do have to push yourself even more, but you can't just stop with what's already working. I think Guerra did hit like the nail on the head specifically with that interview where he said they're already working out the kinks with every strat. They're trying to figure out what's working and what's not. I understand if you're crushed after that loss to SSG from last week, but you still should have won that game, and you're sitting in a much better spot than anyone gave you credit for when this stage started. That's a dub. Keep it going.
Yeah, I think there's no reason for Mirage to be upset with the loss against SSG. Yes, they were up 6-1, they should have won the game, but I think like you look at it overall, they've done very well for this stage. I think just Mirage as a team, stage 1 was just fixing what had happened in the previous year. Stage 2 was getting it on the right track. Stage 3 is actually being a team that's going to compete, and they've shown it clearly.
I think so. I think they're going to provide a good challenge for our other team in this series. It is none other than Xset, of course. Xset, the best performing North American team at a major currently right now, made it all the way to the semis in Berlin. This stage has been a little bit rocky 2-2, but we talked about why that might be a little bit earlier. We touched on it anyway, that other teams have caught up. Other teams are running and gunning like they were always so good at in stage 1 and stage 2. What do they need to do to pick it back up again in here 3?
The thing about this is, even in the 2 losses that they suffered so far this stage, they're still playing like themselves. They're playing in a very Xset style way. They're not even playing that bad. Even in that Sonics game on Clubhouse where their roams were getting dominated, it felt like Xset's positional mistakes were just these minor things that they did as they tried taking control of the map. They still look like Xset. They don't look like a team that's fallen off. All the players are still doing what they were doing back in Berlin, and before then, it's not like all of a sudden this is a really completely different squad that we're not used to seeing. We're very used to seeing this team. It's just a matter of the opponents they face. A very good Parabellum on border that we're already trying to, restructure what it's like to play that map with 2 new guys on it that they've never played before, and a Sonics team that we're just, at every nook and cranny, we're simply the better squad in that Clubhouse matchup. Everything else since then looks like it's business as usual. Lest we forget, they beat OXG 7-2 on theme, and that was a rout. That was a perfect way to bounce back after losing that Clubhouse matchup.
One person that's really been a rock for Xset that they've been able to rely on a lot has been DS. Not only this stage, but I think throughout the entire time he's been on this roster. He's one of the players who will die less than any other person in his position at this high of a level. He's currently got a 46% survival rating this stage. He had a 48% in Brazil and 45 last stage. In every single competition, that's either best in the entire competition or second best, as we're seeing here in this stage. Of course, these stats coming from before this Playday started, but still really impressive that DS is able to survive so much. And it's something that he talked to me about, he's talked to his coaches about, and this is his role, is to stay alive so that he can be that late round trump card who can pop off, go crazy in a clutch. Staying alive is always his goal. It's the role he plays on the team, and I think it's a big part of why Xset have been so successful in the past.
Yeah, I agree. DS made his name on staying alive. He was known to be that guy that was just going to be up at all times. And I think that gives people like Spirits and the more aggressive players on Xset that ability to jump outside a window and play for a 1-for-1, because DS is going to stay up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you need that guy, right? If everyone else is going to be aggressive, you need the person to come and clean up. You need the person to kind of provide that threat that the enemy team knows about, where we have the one guy that plays standard. We got to keep him in mind, even as we're fighting off all these other aggressive members of the team.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think him and Kino work really well together as a support duo, because Kino can kind of play that like aggressive smoke style role where he is kind of going for swings. He's kind of making plays on D, but again, with that rock, it's so nice to have.
That's right. Our map bans are in, so let's move on to that. Let's find out where the game is going to take place.
Well, a couple things about Xset. They are usually restricted to about a 5-map pool. There's only a couple of ones that they will take that are outside of that camp, so to speak. I fully expect to see no Cafe, no Oregon, no Skyscraper from them specifically, and those are the 3 that they've taken off the board in that order. I was down here looking at my notes, and then I look up on the graphics, says exactly that. So I feel like Mirage's map pool also is, so far this year has been pretty bad, ultimately, because they haven't been able to find momentum on too many of them. So the last 3 that we've got here, I think, are ones that do present some interesting opportunities for Mirage, but for some reason, Villa is also still there too.
Well, there's Club, Villa, and Theme, and Club is kind of the one that nobody wants to touch. It'll be a bit of a game of chicken on who wants to ban this. Of course, if Mirage let it through, they better be confident on it. They're not going to. They'll take it out first, and that really leaves Xset with 2 great maps that they could play. Theme Park, one with a lot of footage for Mirage. They played it 3 times in the first 3 matches here in the NAL. This would be their 4th if Xset choose to bring it to them. Villa would be one that they're also very familiar with for a different reason. They played against Xset on this map in both stages 1 and 2. And throughout those 2 matches, Mirage got a grand total of 3 rounds. So at least double that, please, in this game. Ideally, get a couple more than that. Keep it close. But it's certainly not looking good stats-wise when you look at the maps for Mirage.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be interesting on Villa. I know Xset has a lot of set plays that they like to go for. And if you've played Villa twice already against Xset, you've already seen a couple of those set plays. So unless Xset's come up with some new stuff to throw at Mirage, I think Mirage will be prepared.
I think you nailed it, right? Because, I mean, Xset has a lot of footage out there about them on this map. Mirage, it's effectively a new team, right? So those previous maps may not apply as much as maybe people would want them to, those Xset fans out there. But we're going to take that all into account when we make our predictions, which is right now. And of course, first we got to talk to our casters, Pengu and Taro. Is it going to be Mirage? Is it going to be Xset? What do you think? It does feel cold here. You look like the Unabomber or something.
And it reminds me of the team that's going to win today's match, Mirage.
Ooh.
Because it's ice cold.
Ice cold. I think
Canadian team, man, it's freezing. It's freezing.
It's not that
Mirage
cold.
is going to win.
If you can go 7-4 against Astralis and win, and then go OT against SSG, I think you got a good shot at beating Xset, so I'm also on the Mirage train.
All right, wow. 2 for Mirage from Pengu and Canadian Emperor Palpatine. We'll check back in with the 2 of you in just a moment as the map gets started. Like lightning comes out of those thumbs. I've seen it. Let's check with our analysts, though. Jesse, what do you got for this one?
Listen, it wasn't sweater weather early, despite me being in maybe a bit of a warmer uniform.
We're literally in a sweater.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go for Mirage either, despite the weather. I got a lot of faith in Xset as a team, and despite them being just 2-2 this stage, I feel like they're going to bounce back and be able to take their 3rd win of the stage.
I love this battleground. I like it for both teams, mostly because Mirage just needs some kind of comfort pick, but Xset, on both times they've played it so far this stage, have already proven they're the better squad, and ultimately, I don't feel like they're nearly as like doom and gloom or people calling them bad or mid or anything. It's still the same Xset squad, and this Mirage team on Villa still has some problems to sort out. So I'm repping the set. Let's do this.
All right.
This is going to be tough. It's split.
Break the tie.
I think I'm going to go with Mirage for this game. I think Xset...
You're agreeing with them?
Yeah.
You're agreeing with those guys?
I do agree. I think Xset's set plays that they have is going to bite them in the butt, and I don't know if Xset's really prepped Villa that hard to change how they're going to play. I don't know. We'll
Bold words.
Yeah, a lot of trust in Mirage's ability to sort of take that footage and turn it into a win, to counter strat a little bit. We'll see how that works out. Let's find out what the coin has to say. It's going to be Mirage heads. It's going to be Xset tails. The coin loves tails today. It says Xset. We'll see what happens. There you go.
50-50.
50-50.
All right.
Fan vote. We'll break the tie.
Twitter still loves Kino.
I would imagine it's going to be Xset. Twitter does love Kino. Yeah, there you go. Xset for the fan vote. Didn't quite hear what the percentage was. 57%, so actually quite close.
Really close.
They're swaying that vote, dude.
Mirage getting some fans here, and why wouldn't they? They've got exciting new players. They've got exciting new results in that a win is new. And we'll see if they can kind of capitalize on that. Let's check out our community poll to see what question on Twitter we'll have to think about here. Who will have a higher overall rating after this match? Benji Mula or Diaz?
Benji Mula was a top 3 player at one point.
He's been putting the stats in.
Benji Mula's been up there.
That's true.
I wouldn't bet against the B money train. I really wouldn't.
Bro, didn't we just talk about
I
Diaz
know we
being
just
like-
talked about Diaz.
I'm a big Diaz
I know. He made the point, I didn't.
You know, it was 1 week ago that Kento was MVP too, so maybe we got the wrong Mirage player on this graphic.
I'm not playing theme park, so we'll see.
A lot to think about. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the final map of the day begins. Mirage takes on Xset here at the NAL. It's going to be epic. Do not miss it. See you in just a few.
Final matchup of the day, and it's two teams that find themselves in maybe not the same spot in the standings that you would come to expect. Mirage is towards the top of the standings. Xset is also in a similar range, but not quite up as high as they could be. This is a new look of the Mirage roster that we've been talking about a lot.
Yeah,
Added Dexter and Mohesi.
Looking good. So, right, I mean, a lot of people thought, what are 2 players change gonna make, difference-wise? But honestly, they look like a completely different team right now, putting up numbers against, SSG, going to overtime, beating Astralis, beating OXG. To be fair, asterisk, OXG is being beaten by everybody, but back when they beat them in like the first Playday, or second Playday rather, it looked rather impressive. So overall, Mirage looking really good. Xset, one of the only 2 teams to not make a roster change, them and Astralis, and they're looking, I'm gonna say mid, because they're like middle of the pack, not because they're a mid team, so to speak, but they're not playing up to the standards that I think they have for themselves or for their fans this stage.
Well, that's true. So can Xset bounce back? We'll go all the way over to the Italian countryside, drink some nice wine together, maybe try to warm up, because as I said, the cold chill is coming in from the Grey White north of Mirage. They're gonna ban Nook first. No Nook, say it.
Nook.
There you go.
There's no Nook. And of course, Villa is a stable ban because there's all those staircases and the basement is so huge. Almost like having Kavera on the attacking side, but with frag grenades. So of course, we don't want to deal with that when we're defending. Hibana actually gets banned secondly. Very common that you ban a ranged heart breacher, either Ace or Hibana, so nothing out of the ordinary so far.
What else will join? Valkyrie will also be banned out. I don't want to say that's too common, but I mean, her ban rate is quite high, especially here in NAL. We haven't seen a lot of her get played today, and then there's the other shoe that drops. We're just waiting for it. Azami taken out as well, and those are all 4 of the operators that will be unusable.
So in all 3 games that we've cast today, Asami was removed from play, essentially, and it seems that just, if anything, her ban rate is increasing. Because it's, she's not really having a lot of play. That's for sure. Valkyrie Xset Parker, very common operator as well. It's just like one of the only information operators in the game right now that it gets played frequently. Some teams like Rogue and UL, the Berlin Major, they play a lot of Echo, but I don't really think we have a team in North America that plays Echo enough to either warrant a ban, nor anyone being like, oh, this is a problem. So until a team starts doing that, well, Valkyrie will just keep on getting banned. That's the only information operator. Now, Kino is currently hovering Kali. Now, Kino tends to do this on A, Bank, and B, Villa. And I still can't tell if he's memeing or not, because like he does get kills with it, and usually Xset plays quite well with that operator in play as well. But it just seems like an odd operator for Kino of all people to play. And he sticks it. The only thing that gets changed is that Spirits goes for Blitz for just a second, but then goes to Ace at that last final moment that he had to change. So ranged top breach, name of the game. Hibana is off the board. That means you have 3 less flashbangs on every single round, assuming you are going to be playing the Hibana. That means the utility has to be sharp from the rest of the lineup. That's why we see flashbangs from line, smokes from Twitch, nades surround the sledge, and of course you get that utility clear on the Kali.
Did we not see Kino on Kali in Berlin? I distinctly remember seeing
on Bank,
him.
I believe.
Yeah, I actually think it was on Villa.
I mean, I might have been. I think it's both actually.
Why don't we go? Why don't we look? Why don't we look at the Berlin Major groups?
I know for a fact he played Kali. I don't remember if it's specifically Berlin Major or not, but I believe he did.
Oh, okay. Well, my apologies there.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm trying to remember. Look, we casted a lot of games.
That we did.
And was trying to figure out which day it was. But I mean, we could be wrong. It could just be mixing it up. But I'm pretty sure we've seen him on Kali before.
Oh, we certainly have.
And like you said, it might have been Bank as well.
Either way.
It's the advantage of bringing a Kali in this situation over secondary EMPs. Well, during Gomez is bringing Twitch or even a Thatcher. Why would teams decide to bring a Kali here?
I mean, I would argue that one, it's personal preference for long range like we see right now, but also Kali's lances can destroy soft utility, right? Casa barricades, master cameras, shields, etc. So it's like an EMP and Ash Charge combined into one, and Kali has 4 lances now. So the value you get from the operator is actually rather large. It's just that most pro players are uncomfortable with a sniper weapon, so they're like, we want to have a stronger gun, therefore we're not going to play the Kali. Kino, he's just built different. So is Gomez and so is Yog, because they go 1 apiece. Kento trades into Yog rather. But still 4 versus 3 rather.
Obviously benefiting Xset right now is back towards Aviator Games. Kento will go, missing out on a very crucial drone that will continue to feed information to the rest of Xset. Now it's Benji to take some damage there from Spirits. Where's Kino? He's going to be the difference maker. Where the Kali is. Positioned, waiting, watching towards Vault. Not inside a study yet, but a long range means that the long range of this sniper means that you'll be able to pin people down. There was some movement inside of Vault, so that's more information for Xset as to one of the 3 remaining defenders, Mirage being in that position.
And you still got 40 seconds to play with. Now this shield is a bit of a problem, but the Summon Shots goes out, he'll deal with it, but Kento swings nicely off that angle.
My goodness, Kento taken from behind. It leaves Melted to clutch. Smoke is a clutch machine, but we'll now have to wait out the EE1D. 3 toxic canisters for Melted. He can put on a serious hurt, but as he starts to do damage, ticking away at Gomez. Where is Diaz? That is the real question. Swung from 2 separate angles, Melted in a really tough spot right now, but deny them the ability to get that diffuser down. Melted getting pinged away, they know where he is. Continuing to fire. Diaz at the diffuser over half, waiting for Gomez. Can Melted pull this one off? He sees the Twitch shotgun out, gets a little bit too close. That's a down, but Diaz ensures that Xset prevails on round number 1.
That's just so close indeed there, but with shotgun on that long distance, I don't think that really would have been able to get the kill at the end. And it's a successful attack on the opening round, and it was not that messy. It was rather clean. The only thing that really happened that was not so good was that the diffuser case was on the study balcony in that 1 versus 2, and it forced X to take another 10 seconds to get established on the bomb side. But once they got there with that Lion Charge to spare, that really sealed the deal. Having SMG-11 in a 1 versus 2 is never ideal. Sure, in an individual isolated gunfight, it's a great weapon, but only having 17 bullets at your disposal is never a great situation if you gotta shoot a drone, pre-fire a wall, etc. And you saw it in that 1 versus 2. Had to reload 2 times and to go for the shotgun. It's not pretty. And then Mirage, they changed the bomb set up immediately onto Trophy Statue instead. Change things up here. Double reinforcements out of Astro, so a passive hold if you will. We see more and more pro teams play only 1 reinforcement. But then we take a look at triple wall. 2 reinforced, 1 soft. Angle towards Claws will be opened up, and a roam extended on the other side of the map from Dexter, Benji, and Mo. Dammers, of course, to help stop the drone information, and then Dexter reinforcing those off its walls in towards the bar to help assist this roam game. Spirits is showing us not the Blitz, but the Monty.
The Mountain.
The Mountain, the door himself, yeah.
The French operator played by the French player. French-Canadian.
French-Canadian, yes.
Because I know that the people from France would take umbrage with calling him that, but that's just splitting hairs. As the assault from Xset begins, it's going to be over towards Study and head closer to the bomb site that's over towards Trophy and Statuary.
I'm a huge fan of Monty and Villa because you can, as you see here, you can just walk on in, takes top stairs control. Okay, that's clear. Main stairs, that's clear. Going towards long hallway. The only real counter to Monty right now is vertical play with a C4. And when Valkyrie is banned and you're not really playing poles, that's not really something that we're going to be seeing very often. So either you're going to force Mirage into a different playstyle that might be uncomfortable with, or you just take all this ground for free.
And Spirits is just taking it all for free. Melted, who's hanging on to those toxic canisters till the very second of the final first round, has now already expended one of them. It didn't exactly help Melted the way that he wanted. It's also a small change to Melted's lineup. He's not bringing the shotgun. He's bringing both SMGs with him. So not expecting close range combat.
Gotta get that 1.5x, gotta get that enabled up. Mo is down below with a C4 in his pocket, could use it later on, but no information. Mo gets the kills of Diaz instead though, that's Aina off the board, a valuable operator.
And that's Mirage getting the first pick to answer back to the first round where Xset had that upper hand. Yana is a particularly strong operator on just about every single map.
Yeah.
But here, when you're looking at clearing away utility, the grenades, very helpful. Being able to drone in, you're dealing with a mute, but I mean, the information that's going to be gained by the Yana, always applicable, especially if you're trying to scout in a Monty.
Yep, that's the thing, when you play Monty, you're having one less gun on the board, so when you lose the opening kill, well, that's one less to go, and Mo finds a second on the round, almost gets killed, but no, he gets away, just a little bit of HP. Good aggression.
Jump out from Benji, it ends up working. Kento's down and bleeding out. But now you find yourself in a very bad position. Spirits, as the Montaigne, can't really do that much as he tries to close the gap. That leaves Yaga all alone. Kento getting picked back up. Nobody on the floor for Mirage. Many eyes will look towards Yaga's position. They know he's there, or at least have a suspicion at worst. You can see the bullets go over his head. Yaga might just be killing as much time as possible. He knows that the task ahead of him is pretty much impossible. Mirage are aware of that too. And while we've seen some superb clutches from Yaga, the likelihood of one emerging right now, very small. A single pick onto Mo means no flawless round from Mirage, but the case is miles away. And Yaga won't even be able to make it into the room closest to him. Dexter ends that one, and Mirage tie the game.
Now to do it again, the early aggression from Mo really sealed the deal there, getting multiple kills in the round, and Benji followed up with a nice aggressive play, jumping out that closet window towards the master bedroom balcony player of Ace. And at that point, well, you got a Monty in the bomb site getting smoked out and shot by 3 different members. Then York, instead of Boar, couldn't do anything to assist his teammate there. Tied up 1-1, round 3, we are going to go back to AVG, so we're not going to be going downstairs just yet. And that is a question that we have to raise. The tertiary bomb sites today, they haven't seen that much play. It's been kind of very close games, round by round, but the tertiary bomb site in Villa is actually rather strong. It's that kitchen bomb site that most teams go to, not the library one, because that is an extremely rare one to get seen at this level of play. And the couple of options here for Xset, right? They've now played the Kali, they can play without the Kali, they played the Monty, they can play without the Monty, and now that we see the second chime seeing the same bomb site, we have to see how is Xset going to respond on their attacking repick lineup, because Gomez was showing the Bok originally, and Diaz was hovering the Nomad. But upon seeing the bomb site and discussing what they might do, they've gone to Twitch and the Flores instead. This kind of signifies a top main attack, because the Flores drones and Twitch drones can clear out utility in the office, top main area, you take main stairs control, whereas last time, they did a bit of a split take, right? They were in master bedroom, they roam cleared successfully, and then they rotated to study balcony later, except they might have a different approach this time around.
Things change up. The way that they go about this. I would have liked to have seen more Monty, to be honest. I always do like the shield play that gets brought from certain operators. Clash in particular was fun to see for a period of time on defense, but has now very firmly been pushed out of the meta because she just doesn't really bring what you need. It's easier to coordinate against her. Kali's a hard counter, Nomad's a hard counter, Capitão's a hard counter. Any set of nades, hard counter. Zofia is probably her biggest with that concussion from the lifeline, moving the shield aside and allowing a follow-up to be had. Either way, the creativity that can come is huge. And I wanted to know what Xset was trying with the Monty, but we might have to wait until an exit interview to get a better bit of information. Spirits, whether he's on a shield or not, has struggled in this matchup. It'll be the first death in round number 3, yet to find a kill.
Yeah, and the thing about Monty is that if you win the round, you can kind of do it again, but if it fails, normally a Monty player will say, okay, it didn't work, we're going to change things up, get me a gun. But when you do that, you know, the Monty play and it fails, now you go to Ayana, you get intro killed in the first minute. Now Spirits is like, what am I doing wrong? Well, oh my god, Gomez should never have lost that gunfight by the looks of it, but Dexter, he comes out on top instead with a sliver of HP.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocked as to how that one played out.
It looked free, right?
I mean, it absolutely did, especially when you got the F2 in hand. That gun really doesn't have you lose gunfights. It's, yeah, usually operator error. Kino's next to die for Xset. It was almost a flawless round for Mirage in round number 2. Another one is shaping up for them. There's still plenty of opportunity for Xset to get a pick, but when you've got Dexter swinging like that, well, not much you can do. Now leaves Diaz on the other side of the map, and he's probably just going to kill time, I imagine. Very similar position that Yago was in. 1 minute to go, and yeah. What is Diaz doing at this point? He's just killing time, allowing his team to talk. Mirage will wait it out. This is a tactical timeout essentially being taken, and Xset will not win the round.
And the 2 new members of Mirage, Mo and Dexter right now, they have done such a good job in all 3 rounds right now. The aggression, holding their ground, playing that fine line, and never really trading their lives for nothing. There's usually a trade or something of all the value coming back towards them. And Dexter just keep up that aggression while Diaz sort of dance around him. Dexter might get flashed up, but remember, he is Warden. This does not work against him. Diaz, come on, swing the door, man. Flawless round from Mirage. Dexter gets that 3rd kill in the round. He's saying, what's up, man? What are you guys doing?
I mean, if it wasn't for Yaga getting that 1 pick in the previous round to start it off, it would have been 2 flawless in a row. Mirage had difficulties on their very first defense, but they seem to have shored up whatever they had going wrong with them. It's given them a successful win on both Trophy and Aviator on their defenses, and now they have to go to one of the 2 downstairs bomb sites. Xset, whether it just because of a strategic element or because Spirits is not feeling himself, will once again bring a Montaigne, and instead will bring it towards this kitchen defense from Mirage. I suspect that we might see Monty try to roam clear up top because of the fact that most teams that defend kitchen will then go back up to the trophy statuary component of the map, but not actually defend the site there, just hold map control. That's something to keep an eye on. There's been a couple swaps out for Xset, but the Monty is staying, at least for now. Yana and IQ being brought in place of the 0 and the Twitch.
The Monty is really awkward here because if you go above for roam clear, you got to deal with the vertical C4s and the pulse. But if you don't go above, you got to deal with the verticality that you didn't clear. So there really is no winning in the scenario, I feel like, as the Monty player. This is one of the few bombs at the Villa where I probably wouldn't bring the operator myself. But Spirits, he's a veteran, seasoned Monty and shield player, so I'm sure he has a good grasp for the situation. I will say, for Mirage, forcing Mo onto the poles when Mo has been like the opening kill player for their team, playing really far forward on that mute, being very aggressive, it's going to limit them more in their opening kill engagements because Mo is going to be active on that cardiac sensor, he's going to grant information, and sure, he has a C4, he could get the opening kill, but Mo is limited to being on the bomb site itself because that is always where the pulse will play in this particular situation. Diaz is on the IQ, can challenge him through that floor vertically, 1-to-1. It's going to be a cat and mouse game between these 2 operators. And if Diaz, you know, he waits for his right moment and opportunity, he might just get a free kill onto the poles as he's on his scanner. Breach goes out, no wall deny there to be had, no vertical holes to deny that summon charge either. So Benji forced a little bit further back towards that statuary area above. Xset making good and rather quick progress right now. And with the Monty, it might even be, you know, even easier for them to clear out the rest of the top floor.
And there goes one of the Banshees to let them know that the Monty is indeed roam clearing up top, as we had speculated on. Down below, Mohesi getting information. Lots of it, in fact. 3 bodies will be spotted on that sensor, but he'll lose some of the cover that he had because of the sledge work that was coming in from Yaga. Xset still know exactly where they want to advance from. Portions of that floor, by the way, cannot be C4'd. So if you're Mo, you want to stay a little bit farther back and know exactly when that Nitro Cell is going to be successful. I think it was Astralis, actually, who Nitro Celled a portion of the floor. That couldn't be taken out. Spirits is dead yet again, the first to die for the second round in a row. The Monty will not be successful yet again. It's an opportunity that Xset has let slip through their fingers now for 2 rounds.
It's a really awkward position because Spirits couldn't stay inside a statue because of C4. He had to go top red instead. Then he gets isolated into a 1 versus 1 with a Jaeger and somehow loses that gunfight, or that engagement rather. And now Xset, they're playing 4v5. They lost their pocket pick. We still got 2 C4s. Well, make that 1 C4 left in the pocket of Mo. Actually, both C4s been popped, nothing left. Oh, Gomez. He's in.
He's just in the midst of the bomb site. Not for long, though. Mo is there. Must have had some premonition as to whereabouts Xset was pushing from. Mirage can stretch their lead right now. Again, flawlessly done. Xset really struggling to get a kill. As I say that, Mo tries to fire back, takes a bit of Kino's life away, but Kino wins the engagement. But Dexter is not to be found upstairs, and they capitalize off of this. 2-4, and then a third added to it as Melted holds down the bomb sites. Mirage, almost another flawless round, only sacrificing 2 players over the last 3 rounds. That's an impressive stretch, and they've won 3 in a row.
They've done so well in multiple areas, right? Strategically, they got the right setup. Opening kill-wise, they've won, well, they've had opening kill presence in every single round. Opening round, there was a trade between both teams. Round 2, 3, and 4, well, Mirage, they got a very convincing opening kill. And now we're looking at a defender-sided Villa, which is the expected outcome. Once the side swap comes around, we have to see if Mirage can attack better than Xset. Otherwise, we will see a very close game. We might go overtime, etc. You can't just only be good at defending. Now Xset, they have called for this tactical timeout. They are down pretty bad. It makes pretty good sense. I think the timing for this is quite good. They've seen all 3 primary bomb sites. So with this timeout and the next 2 rounds to come, they can expect, or well, rather they can predict that Aviator games and Trophy will be played next. Trophy first, then AVG. They can prepare for these upcoming rounds, try and get some numbers on the board, and of course their coach can get them back mentally in the game as well, because we always say this, Xset normally fire up after a tactical timeout, so this is where they usually start shining. They get a couple of rounds, game gets very close, and then Mirage, they gotta attack afterwards. Xset are still fully in this match, even though it's looked kind of rough the last couple of rounds.
Nick, why did you have to go and make the same prediction as me? Because there's nothing more than I would like to do than gloat about how correct I was in picking Mirage, but you had to spoil that fun.
Why did you pick the same as me? I told you.
I picked first.
Yeah, but I told you what I was going to pick before you said it.
I told you that I was picking Mirage, and you looked at me and you said, I'm going to do the same.
Yeah. So
then I technically told you first.
Okay, so if I'm in, okay, so just get this straight. If you tell me what you're gonna do, I just have to do the opposite no matter what, even if I agree with the same thing?
That's correct.
Okay. From now on, I will always tell you.
Or you plug your ears and you don't hear it.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you the day before we cast what I'm gonna predict, and then you just be doomed.
Did you predict Xset playing like this?
I did not expect Xset to play like this. I did not, but I did expect Mirage to play very well.
Okay. 7 kills for Xset through 4 rounds of action.
It's not pretty.
Less than 2 kills a round is not where you want to be, and the bulk of those came in round number 1.
No, you're absolutely right. And I mean, Spirits, that's like the main character right now in my eyes, right? Because he's tried 3 different operators. It's not working out. Kino gets the opening on the Dexter. Now, this is the thing that we need from Xset, right? Shut down that early aggression. Kino typing basically LOL in Portuguese in chat. And he gets that opening kill for his team.
I mean, Dexter also speaks Portuguese himself, as far as I'm aware.
That makes sense.
I mean, he has a Brazilian flag.
That makes perfect sense.
So I would wager as much that they communicate well with each other, but you don't need to speak Portuguese to know what the multitude of Ks means in chat. It's laughter. Getting rid of Dexter early. He has been such a thorn in the side of Xset because they have been struggling every single step of the way to find the offsite players of Mirage. And I don't know if it's because there's been a mute that's consistently been brought by Mirage. There isn't this time around, or if there's just been issues with Xset simply not droning it out effectively enough and focusing elsewhere. But now Kino, after that early pick, gets taken out by a run out from Kento. He jumps out, gets the kill, jumps right back in, doesn't lose anything in the process.
Yeah, and Gomez has spent both of his grenades, and they really didn't find much value. The Kite Claw is still active on the wall, second one in pocket as well, so Mirage are kind of comfortable in this position, and no diffusers on that balcony. They hear the rappel, they hear the drop as well. They're going to try and aggress for a moment, it looked like, but I think they're going to think better of it. 3 members of Xset now on the master bedroom balcony. They need this diffuser to get picked up and back in their pockets.
Kento scooting away. got Benji next to him for backup. And could they feel some of the heat from Xset in the closet? Well, Benji's still in this spot. He do some serious damage. There's 2 players from Xset that are going to pressure him. And, well, one of those proximities go off. So target acquired. They know that he's inside of closet. They have the tools to flush him out. You were talking about how the nades from Xset had not been the best place. There's still one in back pocket. If Yaga can time this one well, can flush Benji out, but they've wasted about 20 seconds on a single player of Mirage. There's a Frost in play. The longer that you start to tick away at this clock and you go to jump in, you're going to get down, and I imagine that's what just happened with Yaga and Benji in this position. He's going headhunting. Xset gets in on 2 kills, leaving Mo and Melted against Spirits and Diaz. Spirits his very first kill. Looking for another, gets it onto Mo, but he's traded across by Melted, who now just needs to find Diaz. 4 seconds left, and Melted clutches out the Frost Mat, credited with the final kill, but it's Melted to take the heat to Mirage, and they're up 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, they needed that diffuser into their pockets, but they forgot about it because Sophia had to jump back out the window, pick it up, and go towards that bomb side. The last 2 members of Xset were not close together. They could not play for a trade. One member aggressed, one member played backwards. Even though Mo got caught there on the rotate, Melted just played that position so well, passively, waiting for information, waiting for sound, then arguably baiting Mo a little bit there, but it worked out in the greater scheme of things, and Mirage looking really, really good so far. 4-1. Timeout does not work in Xset's favor, and now we get that full bomb site swap again, the full reset. Back to AVG we go. Opening round, Xset, they won this attack. That's the only round they've won so far. Then they lost every single round since. In the first opening round, Kino was on the Kali. Gonna swap right now to Zeta on towards the Ace instead for ranged top breach. Diaz goes back onto Flores, which has been their operator of choice for this particular attacking round, but they don't typically do much with the operator. The last 2 times they brought Flores, they were just losing gunfight after gunfight, and the round was over before that gadget even got used. So if anything, Xset, slow it down, do the steps first, then get aggressive, because right now, Mirage are beating you at the gun game.
Frostmat's going down yet again, and I mean, I always got to make mention of it. Yeah, you might be a pro team, but usually your opponents are going to do setup in such a way that
they know he's in.
Frostmat's going to make you pay. And look at Gomez being hunted down. Not too far off. Mo seems to know that he's there. Look at this.
I like this.
Couple sets eyes, all in the same position. And Mo sees it, easily cleaning up Gomez. Xset surrendering the opening pick yet again for the 4th time on this half.
Yeah, honestly, very ballsy from Mo there to go up aggressively because he could have been hurt from the footsteps, and Gomez gets that free kill. Dexter had the cross. It was a guaranteed kill for them. By the way, Mo and Dexter again playing on that roam together. It was good, well communicated by Mo that the door in garage was open. He has to come dining from pantry at some point in this round. Dexter be ready for it. He was. They get that kill. When with 2 minutes left in the round, Xset, they're just picking up the pieces right now. They haven't progressed on the map. The nades, once again, aren't doing any damage at all, not getting any kills. The shield is still alive top main. No terror drones have been spent from Diaz. We're just kind of waiting right now for Xset to make their first approach, make their first decision, and so far, they've yet to do it.
This is not looking good for Xset at this exact moment, especially losing Gomez. As you mentioned, there goes the Rotero drones, though. Melted worrying about a follow-up, trying to delay some time. Another Rotero drone will go out. Clock management for Xset has been a serious struggle. Melted can easily handle that one. Expecting a follow-up. Somebody to get guided in by that Rotero, but nobody is behind it.
Oh, that's huge.
But this will be an absolute pick onto Kento. No idea what's going beneath him. And Yaga answers back. The smoke is here as well. Yaga could easily get one, but looks away. The smoke will decide to dance back up towards Study. It's Kino there, and Melted is well read. 1 minute to go, and Xset now with the numbers advantage.
Only one member on side as well, so no real support there from the side of Melted. It's a bit of a shame, but Mo aggressively down below again. He reads the situation well. He knows he's being held. He can't progress right now. He has to trust that his members can hold the bomb site down, otherwise they are doomed.
Dexter taking some damage, by far and away the most impressive player from Mirage. Benji in on it. Dexter killed from an angle he didn't think existed. Spirits down below, and he manages to take out Mo, waiting, baiting him in. Now it's Benji to clutch out. Diffuser is not in play. Yaga's been down, so Benji will now reposition. He'll come head-to-head with the Yana and look the wrong way. Spirits cleans up. The final 2 kills for Xset, and they happen to be the second round for Xset as well. Choice words from Vivas as Xset escapes the first half, still staring down the barrel of defeat, but in a closer scoreline than it could have been.
4-2 is definitely necessary for you if you're Xset, right? You cannot just like expect to get one attacking round and pray your defenses are so good. Because yes, sure, Villa, it's a lot easier to defend than it is to attack. You reinforce the default walls, you do your default hold, and then the attackers have to deal with all those different problems, the crossfires, the long lines of sight, and of course, timing the entries can be very difficult. Next set, they struggled in that department the most. The entrying is really where they fell short almost every single round. And in round number 1, they were on the opening kill board. And in the final round, they might have gotten the opening kill, but they played well together after the fact on that main staircase. But also, Melted had no support from Mirage. So, if anything, he kind of got sold. And well, if anything, Xset took great advantage of it. Now, Mirage have to prove to us that A, they've already done this. They can defend Villa. Now they gotta prove that they can attack it as well, because it's a very different story, especially with the banner being banned. You don't have those 3 flashbangs. You're forced into Ace as a hot breacher. It's virtually impossible to play Maverick or Thermite on this particular map, because there's always going to be a soft wall next to a hard wall, and you can't get up close. You gotta worry about the impact grenades, the C4s, etc. So you're going to be more limited in your operator pool, at least in the hard breach department.
Well, that's a tech pause, by the way.
Yep.
So not a timeout that's been taken. Timeout. Apologies there, as I have a frog in my throat. Xset escaped the first half, as I said, with only 2 rounds to their name. They got the opening pick twice. They won one of those rounds. That was all the way back in round number 1. It was a pretty successful round. They got the first pick. They got the diffuser down. Melted. Could not clutch out in the 1v2. Mirage goes on a bit of a tear after that. 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds in a row, of which in 2 of those rounds in particular, Xset only mustered a single kill. One of the rounds was flawlessly done. So over the last 2 rounds, Xset have been finding more confidence in their gunplay, but only have a single round to show for that. As for Mirage, they got 4 first bloods. That leads us to our question now as we start the second half. Who will have a higher overall rating after this match, Benji Mula or Diaz? If you had to pick, who would it be?
I mean, I gotta go with Benji because I'm a Mirage stan, you know, of course. But it's a close run, and also Benji just played his defensive side. That's arguably the easier aspect. Diaz still got 4 kills on his attack. The vote also relatively close, 42 to 58%. So there's no clear winner right now. We still got many more rounds to go, as round number 7 is opening up in front of our very eyes. It's going to be an AVG defense to start things off for Xset. And Mirage's attacking lineup is pretty standard. The one thing they've done differently than Xset so far, they are bringing the buck. That's going to give them a second avenue of, you know, verticality, a different tool to go through the map. They can go below, work their way up. But also, there's so many soft walls, you know, on our screen right now. Whether it's the third walls out of master bedroom, the closet walls to bathroom, the astro walls. There are so many different ways to use the buck on this map. And buck also has, you know, a bit of utility to use as well. Gomez holding on the first angle on the entry point. 1 and 5 to his name. Has to try and find some success here in shutting down these entry players.
Was just about to mention that, but Spirits, despite going, what was it, 0 and 4, has now found a couple rounds in a row where he's been able to pick up some kills, get himself to almost even. That whole team needs somebody to really take charge. And honestly, if we look at Spirits from his days all the way down the Canada division to where we are right now, Spirits has struggled with consistency. He will go 1 and 10 one game and then immediately follow up by going 21 and 4 the next game. There is no middle ground, it seems. At the moment, Spirits inhabiting the middle ground. So either he will continue to play well or will sink like an anchor. It's not my rule. That's just the way things go. Either way, just a little bit off of the board. Mirage deciding to take the top half of the map over by Trophy and Statuary and Master Bedroom as they look to attack this Aviator defense.
Mirage must be expecting some aggression from Xset because they're playing so far back, droning from concrete that you can't get C4 from, and then no one's actually following these drones, so if Xset were playing aggressively, they'd have to re-drone that entire ground again. A basic setup. Heartbreacher on study balcony alone, 1v1 against Gomez basically. Mo has to drone that position out. Gomez gets very aggressive on the jump out. It's absurd.
That's a long run for him to get out there, and they try to hold him in place. Diaz baits in Dexter after Kino falls. Benji's in the middle of the bomb site, and he can get the diffuser down. The smoke coverage completely misses. Now it's on Melted to try to shut down Diaz, but he's got too many angles to look at. Diffuser goes down successfully. Benji shut down by Yaga with the shotgun. Yaga will need to retake. Mirage's 2 players, both very, very low on HP, but that doesn't matter to Kento on red stairs. He'll now reposition, and as a buck, he can get below the bomb site with the skeleton key for the post plant. This is an excellent setup for him to be in. Diaz hopping on it. They must hear the Spirits watching from below, taking some damage. They manage to shake off the diffuser. Diaz will go back on, but it's Melted to trade out, and Melted with 1 HP needs to only buy 4 seconds. Spirits will have to hop on now, or else he loses out. And he's past the point of no return. Mirage will get it because Spirits doesn't want to take the engagement, and another round will go to Melted clutching.
That right there is almost a picture-perfect 2v3 post-plant situation. You saw it. The moment Bok got the kill on the red stairs, instantly sprinted downstairs. We all knew what that meant. Bok is going to play the post-plant from below. We mentioned earlier in the pick phase of these operators what Bok adds value-wise to the operator lineup. That right there is picture-perfect. The other member of Mirage outside on study balcony, playing super far back, playing super passive, because if he falls, then Bok plays in that 1v2 from a really tough position. They played their roles perfectly, and it was while being a man down. And Xset, they were trying their best for the post plan. They were trying to retake, and honestly, they had the right idea. One member ran downstairs, challenged the Buck. Other member tried to defuse and try and bait out the study player. Mirage just one step ahead and played it a little bit better. And Xset, if there's one team that can win those kinds of rounds where they gotta, get the diffuser down and get multiple kills, it's gotta be Xset. In their opening game on this year in Stage 1 against SSG on Bank, they won like a 5v5 retake on defense, which almost never happens in this game. So they have the experience for it. They made the right decisions, but they did not win the round. 5-2 from Mirage, and round number 8 is gonna be a trophy.
Mirage right now, they're just speed walking their way through this. Xset struggles, similar to what Astralis has gone through, shows that there is turmoil in North America. We assume that the teams at the top would always be in good position. Well, if you're fans of OXG, if you're fans of Xset, if you're fans of Astralis, it has not been the season that you've wanted so far. What is it? TSM, Dark Zero, and the Sonics are the top 3 teams at the moment. Mirage with a victory here could put themselves into the top 4 yet again. Good news for fans of OXG, Xset, and Astralis is that because of their success at the majors and in the first 2 stages, it's all but certain that they're going to make it to SI. So they will be on the biggest stage of them all. As for the rest of these teams, they need to pick up some really crucial SI points and make deep major runs to represent North America. That's sad. It's a minute off of round number 8. Mirage, a single round away from guaranteeing themselves 1 point by moving to match point. Oh, and Spirits could have started things off by putting Mirage on their back foot.
Instead, there's going to be Yogg fighting for his life, but Melted takes his life away from him. Again, Mirage successful entry on this round.
And Spirits is trying to get out of there. There's so much gunfire happening inside of Aviator, inside of Study. And Spirits managed to make it out alive, which is really a remarkable thing.
I mean, it is.
A trophy statuary defense right now.
But he's so low on HP. So you're alive, but like one bullet and you're done again. So 2 successful entries, arguably for Mirage. They still have the Dokkaebi, they have the Lion, they have a heavy execution-based lineup. They get to hack the phone as well. This is like max value you can get. Gomez, he makes up the difference, takes out Mo. That's a good start for them, but they need more.
Very well done. Spirit's still on very limited HP, no way for a reset here, and no Kona stations, no healers on defense. Finka very firmly out of the meta on attack, so you won't be seeing her topping up any of these players. Kento will likely be the first one to go in. He has the diffuser in hand, but he's going to jostle it around, knowing that it won't be long for this Earth. Gomez taking some serious damage. ADS there waiting, recharged. Can Gomez do anything with this? You'd singled him out as the player that needed to step up the most. He's got 2 kills since then. Logic Bomb goes off, giving his position away, but look at this rad angle he's in. They must assuredly know that he's there, blinded out, waiting. He hops up. Kento with limited HP does what needs to be done, and he looks across the way. Kino keeps things even for Xset, and now Spirits with limited HP of his own can do some serious damage. The last player for Mirage is Benji outside, and he's got 2 players of Xset to find. The head of Spirits is there, and oh my goodness, what have we said? You only need a single point of HP to make things work. And Spirits gets 2 hugely impactful kills after almost losing his life in that ensuing onslaught.
Absolutely, and one of the more awkward things there is that, you said Kento might drop the diffuser, and he did. No one picked up the case once he did it, so even though it looked really good for Mirage, they were on the bomb side, well, they had to go all the way back out to pick up the diffuser, only to go back in, and that creates this really awkward scenario where there are so many conflicting issues about to occur, because you gotta look away, you gotta go through the door twice, there's so many crossfires established, and, well, didn't end up mattering because Xset just took the round out straight from them. There is a drone bug being called out in chat, so we might get a quick rehost underway, and there it is indeed. But Xset looking alive and still fighting, even though they're down in the man count. They found success with the crossfires, and Mirage were not really establishing a planned execute, but rather a kill execute.
Well, there's a rehost that's coming in because of that drone bug. Unfortunate that we have yet another, but there will be a tech pause, and the teams get to discuss with one another as Mirage is hoping to put this one away, since back in round number 5, the teams have traded rounds. That greatly benefits the team that is so far ahead, which is this Mirage squad.
Yeah. Remember, it's a long time ago at this point, I guess, but you said how when Spirits was low on HP, back in the day, you could revive, reset, injure with 50 health. Back when you had 100.
And then it was dropped to 20, which is where it's at now.
Not just that, but now operators have more health based on their armor, so it's even lower value nowadays because you don't get more than 20 health despite having more than 100 HP if you have more armor.
I mean, just talking strictly from like readability of the game, resetting was a very silly mechanic.
It was.
It was hard to talk about. Oh, he's getting reset. What does that mean? Well, it means that when you're at 14 HP, they can shoot you through a wall, down you, and pick you back up at 50 HP. It didn't really make any sense. So changing the numbers down to 20 made it a lot more, I guess, simple to understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very intuitive. Oh, okay, shoot me through a wall and pick me back up. Oh, cool. It's very similar to, I think, the argument around Withstand was that why is Zofia the only character who can use Withstand? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't involve anything it doesn't involve anything with her gadget. And if you're a new player, you would think, okay, maybe that makes sense with an operator like Oryx, for example, who I honestly think the ability to withstand for Oryx would fit thematically with his entire gadget. I mean, his gadget is literally his body.
Yeah.
He can plow through walls, run really fast, he can climb up through hatches, and if he gets down, he can pick himself back up.
Yeah.
All of that makes a lot of sense. All of it fits together. I still think Withstand, I'm very glad it's gone. I still don't think it made any sense, and I hope it doesn't come back. But that said, resetting was an entirely different thing, because you get people who would also just go up onto the roof and throw themselves off and just get picked back up, and you'd say, okay, well, this doesn't make any sense.
No, it is weird to look at. And also, I mean, let's say that you injure someone and you die, right? You should feel rewarded, like, oh, I injured this person, like he's going to get revived at like low HP. But no, if you injure someone but you die, they get back on their feet with half their health to spare. And you can still back then play a dock on the board because that was a popular operator back then. So it felt extremely unrewarding to injure someone and not kill them. Whereas now, you can literally just be, I injured this guy, and I'm not going to greet for the kill because he's 20 HP, it's 1 bullet. I'm okay with him slipping away somewhat. So I fully agree. From a viewing standpoint, a playing standpoint, it was a great addition to the game, a great change to the game, rather. However, with the mid-season patch is coming out in a few weeks from now, actually, very, very soon, there is that Rook change that is supposed to be in there, where if you pick up the Rook armor, assuming that you play Rook, you will actually be able to withstand as any defender. That was in the test server.
I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan of Withstand, but if you're gonna work it into an ability, allowing people to pick themselves back up makes sense. But I would make it a small window.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you're wearing bulletproof armor, and you get shot with a gun, this has never happened to me. I've never been shot with a weapon, but if you're wearing like a Kevlar vest and you get shot with a like high enough like powered gun, and it doesn't penetrate, it can still break a rib and wind you and knock you over, and you're going to be seriously injured, but you're not going to be dead.
Yeah.
Right? And it's going to take you some time to be able to get back up. I would maybe want to just simply spitballing, see if there was a window where you could get up in a certain time frame, or it would take you a certain amount of time frame to be able to get up. Let's say, you know, after 20 seconds of bleeding out, then you could get up instead of just immediately standing right back up.
Yeah.
But again, this can be confusing. But working it into Rook does seem to make a lot of sense. I am still not a Withstand enjoyer. And, you know, if you read some of the Rainbow Six Reddit threads, you would think that I am the sole reason as to why it got banned, or Pro League is the sole reason as to why it got removed from Zofia, which is very far from the truth.
Really? I'm pretty sure the one round that happened out of all the hundreds of rounds was the reason why it got removed. It has to be.
The dev pipeline for this game right now is anywhere from like 4 to 9 months. When something is thought up, it can usually take, you know, usually over half a year to be implemented. So when the devs want to remove Withstand, it's not going to be done because 3 days prior, somebody withstands and wins a round in pro play that is ridiculous.
If you say so. I'll believe you.
I mean, the devs have talked about it. They've come out on the record and said, no, this is something that we've been dealing with for a while, and we were spitballing about how it would come to be. But, I mean, I'm interested to see the Rook change. There was chatter from a lot of people when it was on the TS that it was quite, or would be quite overpowered. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but an entire team being able to pick themselves back up is a scary thing.
Yeah.
So.
It brings me Finga vibes, and there's a reason why Finga is no longer played, because it had to get nerfed, right? Not the gadget, but just like how much value that she brought. But then again, Rook is a very weak operator that never gets played at professional levels, so I'm also open to a change, even though it might only be for a season or two. But we are back in the server. We have fixed the problems, we have gotten new drones, you know, new batteries in them, they all work now. Round number 9 is on the way, we are downstairs, tertiary bomb site. What happened is, since the side swap, Mirage won the first attack on AVG, that post-plan in 2v3. Then Trophy was successfully defended by Xset, and now they're going to Dine. We see 3 members in the basement about to rush up in through barrel, up the staircase. It's going to be an explosive and rather quick round. Or we're going to crouch walk. Either way, they're sending it right now, Parker.
They are. They're just going in. Look at Mirage. Sound the alarm. Do you have a trumpet? Nice. And they're in. And look at that. Mo with the very first kill, but swatted away. And there's one behind them as Melted dies to an EE1D, and Dexter looks to have been down by it as well. Spirits with the catch onto Dexter, and the rush that lasted all but 5 seconds leaves Benji to die to Spirits yet again. Xset capitalize off of Mirage's play. I liked Mirage's chutzpah, but I didn't like the result for them. And Xset have closed the gap. They're 1 round away from sending us all the way to round 12.
I don't want to point any fingers, but I'm going to do it anyway. So there's a very simple reason why that round did not work out in favor of Mirage. And it comes down to execution from an individual player. Kento in the bog accidentally messed up. He bucked the wall from like the brown stairs into the bomb site, but it was a vault angle. So all 3 members are holding sprint key, and they ran into the wall and realized, okay, there's like a gap, there's like a thing at the bottom. We gotta press space and jump through. And the 4 seconds or 2 seconds that it took for them to like figure that out, well, they got flanked, they got caught mid-animation, they couldn't turn around when they got flanked, and they all basically died in that exact same position. So super minor issue there really slowed them down, because when you're going for a rush, their whole point is obviously to go fast, and they didn't. Of course, the Capcom traps were a problem as well. There was a good canister that could have been popped from the defenders too, but ultimately it came down to a small execution error. I like going fast after a tech pause because everyone's kind of winded down, and then you just go full send it. So strategically, pacing-wise, I love this strat. Execution-wise, I give it a 4 out of 10. Could be better.
4 to 10 is actually my favorite fraction, because it goes down to 2 out of 5. And 1 out of 2.5. Isn't that great?
That's fantastic for you, Paul. I'm so happy for you.
It's not how fractions work, my friend. Either way, a bold play by Mirage.
Yeah, it doesn't pay off.
Does not pay off at all. No, no, no. Oh well. They tried, and it gave us something exciting to look at. But Mo will now go on to drone work, and we are quickly getting into this round. I have to check for Capcom traps, which was something that was unfortunately doomed Mirage last time around, but they read correctly, as Yaga will be on Capcom. Xset will run that operator yet again.
It is indeed a library defense, by the way, so all 4 bomb site being showed, and the play rate of this bomb site is like extremely low, one of the lowest in the entire game, and it's a pocket one. You know, we see Frost and Capcan being brought out, the Echo as well. These are operators that were, well, not the Capcan, but the Frost and the Echo here were purposely picked for this bomb site. You got a few window jump-ins, you got a few nasty corners. Neokais, they can get out of the plant or gain some information from the exterior roamers. Okay, just like that.
Oh, Melted taking down Yaga, but he's at such a low bit of HP that if he hits a Capcan trap, he's dead, and there's no coming back from that.
Oh, I like this counterplay. Now they can't see them from the vert holes.
There's Benji in this position. He's in the bomb site, but oh man, they bring the heat to him absolutely. Gomez from above. Benji knew that was up there, and he was trying to combat it, but just couldn't do it.
It's going to be hard now. Sledge should be found out as well. 1 bullet will end his life, but he gets away scot-free somehow. I will say, I really love the Xset play. It seemed like a great counter, but Diaz and Gomez both having impact grenades just made his life so much more difficult, and he got taken down before a plant could be established. He still smokes on Dexter. The round is still winnable.
Dexter will slowly walk up and do some serious damage and get the down onto Gomez, but Xset are just the better team. Right now preying on the weaknesses of Mirage. Melted, the one to cover. He gets taken out by Kino, and once Mo gets off the diffuser, Kino can secure, but they know exactly where he is. Can Mo clutch out? He'll have to reload, and he doesn't have a real way out of this. Scampering off. There's lines of sight all the way down, and he gets it down on himself on Aquino. Gomez had been downed earlier on. Spirits from above. They'll have to try to retake the bomb site as the counter just continues to tick away. The goal for Mo is to not get all the kills. It's to just slow them down before they can get onto the diffuser. Gomez will try to bait it out. Long arming. Mo might know this. He makes noise. Off the diffuser he goes. Out him! Good God! Mo Hassi clutches out for Mirage. They're on match point.
That is a huge clutch for a player who's playing his first stage in Pro League, and he played it so well in the 1 versus 4. Not even going for the reload or region. I thought he's got out of bullets. There is no way he makes this work. But a combination of good decision making, good timing, and then playing the odds, right? Members of Xset were particularly low in HP. He just needed a few bullets to hit and land, and that they did. Monumental clutch for him in a 1 versus 4 post plan. Once the diffuser goes down, it's always winnable in Rainbow Six Siege, and this round is a testament to just that. The 1 member at full HP of Spirits, that was a headshot from Mo, by the way. That's what matters the most. And that right there guarantees Mirage at least 1 point, because at worst, they'll go overtime loss against Xset. And best, well, they take this round, they win in regulation, or they win the next one.
Well, at least 1 point on the board for Mirage, and good play by Mo, who just really needed to waste time.
Yeah.
He didn't need to go for the kill, but he did it anyway. And ice in the veins, well, that's something that just comes playing with a Canadian team. Though Mo's not Canadian. But no, he's not. But the team is located there, and it looks like the Grey White North might actually triumph. We will see.
Certainly looks good. I was worried for a second because of the scrappy round. Dexter upstairs alone got, you know, Xset had a good crosshair up above, right? They traded 1 for 1 at worst, but they just got the kill for free instead. Mirage, they have a good read on what they want to do in the beginning, and even when things don't go their way, they can still get fancy with those clutch moments. We saw it against SSG last Playday, we're seeing it now against Xset. These are experienced rosters, or arguably Xset less experienced than SSG, but still somewhat experienced rosters to do this against.
Drone could come up towards Spirits. A victory here for Mirage would catapult them up into 4th place, uncontested in that position. 1 point back of Dark Zero, 2 points back of Sonics and TSM. So within striking distance of 1st overall. If you look at upcoming matchups, Mirage for the next 4 Playdays play Dark Zero, Parabellum, Beast Coast, and Sonics. So that's not exactly the easiest schedule for them. They have to get through Xset first, though. And Xset are just really bringing the heat to this Mirage squad as they get the first 2 picks onto Mirage.
That they're doing is not pretty right now. I mean, they can get scrappy, we said, they can get clutch. We saw that last round, but Dexter, well, he finds one to York, but they need way more than that. And so far, they're finding it. Mo finds another beautiful shot to Spirits, and somehow we're back in the 3v3 20 seconds later. What's next, though? Now we can slow down. Xset and Mirage both have the same interest in mind right now. Don't throw the current numbers. Mo is low on HP. It's our only hot breach. No nades at their disposal. Gomez on the flank. Attackers drop.
Gomez will be able to catch it on to Mo, the hero from the previous round. No more. Closing in on an even match. Mirage have now just slipped a little bit behind. Gain some valuable insight with a minute left as they get the cams of Xset. And we'll give them more information should those cams still remain up. Mirage try and tackle this trophy statuary attack. Not in the same position. Spread out enough. Flash goes in. So does Kento, position given away as Dexter takes some damage, playing behind that soft wall is Kino, who's blind, and he does a lot of damage to Kento, who's now been dropped and finished off by Kino. Dexter's the last one, and he gets taken out by Gomez. Xset stay in it.
Kino's shotgun is just absurd. Every time I watch an Xset game, he always does this as well. I'm like, there's no way that's going to do a lot of damage, right? He went from full HP to like 20, if not less. It was absurd. Hipfire shotgun from that distance, it should not be the way it works, but for Kino, it is. And a tactical timeout before we head to OT will be called out by Mirage because they want to settle this on this upcoming round. This is the final round before OT, otherwise we got to go the distance. Of course, Mirage, they really want these points. Remember, last week they were up 6-1 against SSG, only to lose 8-6. Later on. So they lost their lead, and you know, SSG, they made a huge comeback. They need these 3 points in regulation really badly to solidify their spot.
I'll go through it together. Christian behind them, talking to the team, maybe either trying to instill discipline or just simply a more strategic element. Again, we can only speculate as to what the teams are discussing themselves. I am curious if we exist in an alternate timeline where instead of that rush play that we saw out of Mirage, which was a big gamble, it did not ultimately pay off, but was still a big gamble all the same, if they had just played it maybe a bit safer. If they'd played it safer, gone about it the way that we've seen so far, because of the 5 rounds they've been in attack, they've won 2 of them through very conventional means. They've lost 2 of them through conventional means. And then you have that 5th round, which was that rush strat all the way back in round number 9. So it's entirely possible, basically 50-50, that Mirage comes out with a much better result. But of course, we have the power of hindsight. The team does not.
I was going to say, while I think it's a valid argument and point to make,
yes,
I hate when you put teams in a position where you say, you shouldn't have taken that risk, because it's after a technical issue. Both teams are, you know, winding down. You go for a rush off the bat, you're going to catch them off guard. It looked like a great idea, conceptually speaking, and they had the balls to do it in a match as well against Xset, which is a team that on paper Mirage shouldn't be beating right now. I hate when we limit them, so I feel like they should do it again, if anything, right? Also show their creativity and their and
trying to sabotage them at this point.
No. You believe in the North, Parker. You predict the Mirage to win. We should be rooting for their upcoming. We can't talk about the past, but we can't talk about the present. Right now, Mirage, they want to get this final round. They can still do it. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. And again, I think discipline was what Christian was talking about. Look how slowly Mirage are taking it. No one is jumping in window aggressively. No one is risking dying to a bad gunfight. No one is rushing through anything. We're going through the motions step by step. Often what you see in overtime rounds, or also what you see on match point, is the team who's in the lead is going to start taking a precautious approach because you feel it slipping away otherwise, right? You don't want to be the guy dying first in this round because then you feel like you are to be blamed or you are part of the problem, so to speak. So it's important that all 5 members, they work in union. Mirage is doing that, droning for one another. In fact, no one's droning for anybody, they're just droning right now, but they're going to be moving through the motions, through the map. They know it's all clear, just like last time they attacked this bomb site. But it's going to come down to the wire. I expect this to be like a 20-second left execute. It's going to be absolutely chaotic.
Xset standing still for now. Gomez with the C4 out, but he bonches the throw. We'll have to retrieve it. He and Kino right now inside a vault. Yaga is down below. Does he have access to a nitro cell? It sounds like it just blew up, but it wasn't used by him on somebody else. It might have been used on a rotate on that wall to get him out of harm's way and over towards Pottery, the art studio. Kino, the very first pick on to Kento. If Mirage want to win in regulation, they're going to have to do so from behind as they've now lost their buck. And Kento has gone ice cold since coming back into this matchup. Mohesi had an incredible round, but he won't be able to contribute much here on match point. And things look like overtime for us.
Getting there very close, at least 40 seconds left. And Mirage, they gotta get very scrappy right now.
Dexter was standing under a default cam that entire time. Mirage, you said they were being patient, maybe disciplined, but if anything, they look uncertain, and they're getting picked off one by one. It's only Benji and Melted, and Benji's been dropped on the ground. Melted will need to charge through the smoke to try to do something. The toxic gas going off in front of him. Doesn't look like a flawless will be had. Melted gets his pick, but he gets shut down by Gomez, and we will need extra innings. Neither team will get all 3 points, so dashing the hopes of a regulation win for Mirage is Xset. But both teams secure a single point, and we'll spend at least 2 rounds here in OT to determine who walks away with the win.
Now, from the side of Mirage, there's a bit of a mental game that's now in play because you choked the game, arguably choked the game against SSG. I spoke to Dexter about it Saturday on the podcast that I host, and he was like, "What was it like? You've choked this game, you're up massively. What was going through you guys' mind?" And he said we had a hard time kind of problem solving and figuring out what to do next because all the things that we did in the past, they worked, and when they stopped working, we just couldn't find something else to replace that element. And I think this round right here is going to perfectly illustrate if that has been resolved, because now we're going to go to the same bomb site again. It's the 3rd time Mirage they get to attack it. They've had the same problem on this bomb site twice. Sure, they won that 2v3 clutch the first time around, but other than that, it wasn't a clean-cut round. For the 3rd time, Mirage, that to show us a different attack, a different approach, a different style with a different outcome. Because otherwise, it's going to be just like against SG and Chalet, where they attack library the same way for the 3rd time in a row, and guess what? It fails for a 3rd time in a row.
What we see is a defender-sided Villa, so
true.
Don't exactly know if Mirage are victims here, but Gomez will go for an early scout towards spawn, find nothing for it. At least they know there's a Warden on the board as he goes for that run out, assuming that they've already droned it.
Oh,
Yaga with the early pick down in bikes, and down goes Melted.
Tough start.
No, that's not bikes, that's what? That's mudroom.
Some G2 calls it bikes. Bike room. But yeah, mudroom.
I was gonna say, because I think NA calls the other bike portion bikes, but anyway.
Different regions, different callouts.
Absolutely.
That is a thing.
Aviator defense given a big boon right now for Xset as they did take that gamble. 2 gambles, in fact, both the runouts paying off. Yaga and Gomez going for the jump out.
Oh, the timing.
Spirits taking damage. Oh, what a shot on the Dexter.
Ouch.
That's a highlight reel play from Spirits, who, what did I say? He would either flourish or sink like an anchor, and he's definitely flourishing at this point since the rehost coming back. 6-2, plenty of time for him to make more things happen as he'll hold off towards the main doorway. A toxic canister will slowly filter away. He hears one. That's not hard to control at that close a range. Kino in on it as well, and Mirage have completely fallen apart. Benji's, I'm assuming, going to take a timeout right now with 90 seconds to go. Get him away, get him as far away from the action as possible. They're not going to be able to find you, so Xset will technically win a flawless round, unless Benji decides to go back in.
Yeah, you can talk about the upcoming round, right? You can't really talk about this round right now because you're not going to see this attack ever again because this bomb site is locked. Even if you win your defensive round, you're not going to attack AVG. So I assume right now it's about, again, the discipline, the mental, and obviously the spawn peaks, right? Because now 2 rounds in a row, a member of Mirage got spawn peaked early on, and that's something that really can't be happening in these scenarios. You're losing opening kill after opening kill, and you're playing from that disadvantageous position where in the first half of this game, well, Mirage is doing excellent in the opening kill department, but round by round, they've slowly started losing their grip in that department. Either it's a trade back from Xset, or they just outright lose it the last 3 rounds in a row.
This is the 2nd time that we've seen a player taken timeout. It was, what was it, Xset before, I believe.
Yeah, from DS.
That did it, yeah, and there you have it. It's a small finish for Xset as they flawlessly get it done, and now they move on to match point.
Yep. Now, of course, the benefit here is, if you want to talk numbers, it is, as we mentioned, a defender side of Villa. Xset, they get defense twice. So Mirage, really, they have like the biggest, obstacle to overcome right now because they do have to win 1 of their 2 attacking rounds, assuming that they win the defensive round as well. They have free choosing from any bomb site. They're choosing trophy, statuary room. Last time, way back, Mirage was defending. They went to Trophy 1 time, 2 times, and guess what? They won both of those rounds. The only bombs that they lost was the first opening AVG round, and then the very last round on the defense on AVG again. So statistically, it's a great bomb set for them, but they gotta do it one more time. Otherwise, it's over for them with an 8-6 scoreline back-to-back in terms of play days.
And they were just on a tear.
They were.
They were absolutely on a tear. It was 6-4 for Mirage. That was after, of course, they gave up round number 9 on that crazy rush strat that we saw come out from them. We don't see a lot of rush strats on Villa the way that we used to.
No. No, we don't.
I honestly think that when we had Finca in the meta, it made a lot more sense to go for those strategies as well, because you could top up, you would have the Adrenal Surge be the starting sound for so many of you. But I mean, I don't want to fixate on a single round, because that was also not the round that really cost them. And if you think about it, Mohesi had the incredible clutch back in round 10. If it wasn't for that 1v3 clutch that he pulled off, this matchup ends in regulation with Xset getting all 3 points.
That's true, actually. Good point.
So, I mean, it's easy for us to fixate on a single round, but there's a lot more to it than that, either way.
I mean, certainly is. Xset, attack and lineup-wise, going for a stable, consistent one. No Monty, nothing like that. And Spirit, he has found his footing, as you mentioned, Parker. 8-2 since the rehost. And he's been on fire ever since. Had a phenomenal round, in fact, last round on the main stairs of Smoke. Got that double kill and a nice shot onto the person on the rappel. That was Mo, I believe. Now he's downstairs. Still has 2 nades in his pocket. So does Yogg. Plenty of utility for Xset to fish for these kills and do some damage. Or try and get an opening somewhere.
Drone Yogg in. In fact, they'll actually both go onto drones. I like that they've kept drones in the basement, because if you recall, there was that flank that came in from Mirage that completely caught Xset off guard. If you're going to try to take kitchen or pantry, you need to be very wary of somebody sneaking up on you from that angle. Oh, that's an explosion that almost kills Dexter. He manages to survive for now, holding this tight angle, looking into master bedroom, where nobody is for the moment.
Tough position to be in right now. Decision maker right now. Do I aggress? Do I stay? What's the risk here? Well, Dexter can play aggressive. He's 1 HP. Might as well try and get something for his trouble, but it is tough.
Kino searching for kills. Both of these teams very slow to want to take engagements, but Xset cracks it open. Down goes Kento and Dexter. A tough spot for Mirage now, but there wasn't much left of Dexter, to be fair. Now it's Mirage try to retake the bomb site, and they lose the Rotero drone that scoots by 2 separate players of Mirage. Not an ideal situation to be in. Xset getting ever closer. Now it's Spirits to walk up. Only inches away from the B-bomb site. 2 players from Mirage, deep, far back inside of Astro, isolated at this current position, so Spirits has all the land in the world, and he's gonna take it. It's free real estate for Spirits as he gets 2, leaving Mohesi to try to clutch out against every member of Xset, and he's not gonna do it. 2 flawless rounds in a row is enough for Xset to take the win in overtime.
And that means that, 2 playdays in a row against SSG and now Xset. Mirage, they get close, but they can't quite make it. 6-8 losses back-to-back, but I will say Mirage, phenomenal start overall. They looked like they've improved. Christian, their coach, said they look for improvement day by day, scrim by scrim, and I will say they've achieved that at least in this matchup against Xset. They look good.
Look good? Both of these teams hanging tight. I mean, at the end of the day, Mirage did not fall that far short of a victory.
No.
It came close, and for a team like Mirage, and how they have developed and how these new players have stepped onto the squad, honestly, even if they didn't win, I still gotta say, it was a good effort. Xset on top, they pick up 2 points to Mirage's 1. That's it for all of our matches today. We got the deaths to break it down though, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We are back here at the Rainbow Six North American League Analyst Desk for one final time tonight. And you know what? There were doubters. There were people that thought that the best performing team in NA at the Berlin Major couldn't get it done here today. Well, guess what? They did. Xset in OT. They get the win. Mirage makes it close, but Xset finally winning it 8-6 in the end.
Nice little pop off at the end from Spirits and Yaga, both of which really did turn it on. It was looking rough. Again, we saw Mirage off to an early lead. They managed to push it all the way to the precipice of winning the game. They got it all the way to 6 rounds, and then once again choke it at the very end. Xset coming through on top.
Man, what is it about Mirage in overtime, dude? What is it? 2 straight games, almost exactly like this, back-to-back with one another when they've already got an advantage. They're not able to fully capitalize on it at the very end. And it's a weird thing about the opening kills as well. They start out getting a whole bunch of them. It turns into a landslide to a point where it's a 1-4 game, and then suddenly Xset starts getting them. Mirage can't win an opening gunfight to save their life. They're starting off rounds in 3v5s, and it's a landslide in the opposite direction. And Xset pull that one back when, honestly, they very well could have lost this thing way earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I think a big factor in that was Spirits. I think Spirits started out like 0-4 or 0-5.
Yep.
Yeah. And then at the end, he had 17 kills. Definitely stepped up big for his team, especially on the defense side.
Something about Villa making legends. What is it with this week, man?
It's a map that just produces a lot of all-star performances. What can you say? Speaking of all-star performances, we're about to see one from Jesse J. Chick as he heads over to Telestrate round number 4 for us.
Well, I don't know about all-star performance.
None of this Canadian humility here.
Oh, I thought we were talking the players.
Wow.
Listen, we have already once gone over today a play where a Monty pushes on to Aviator Games from the north and gets disconnected from his team. So I figured, why not show the exact same thing because it happens again. We've got a Montaigne pushing, and this time, of course, the bomb site is down below. However, they want to clear, downwards. They want to be able to push over and clear the roamers kind of towards the side of the south. Now, what we're going to see is, of course, there is a Monty. There are some players up and towards Master Bedroom as well. I just want to point something out right quick, right? What do we have all the way over here? We got like 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's like at least still in Master Bedroom, right? They're very far in. And then the shield player, the guy that cannot shoot back, is almost on the complete other side of the map, about to take a gunfight with Benji Mula, who is more than likely, because he has a gun, gonna win this fight. And sure, maybe he's got a shield. He feels like he can play a little bit more prepared. He can like actually survive this. But ultimately, it's not gonna go his direction. And it's just so unfortunate that there's nobody there to help him at all. It's the second time in a row that we saw this, and I think it kind of highlights a greater problem that we saw with Xset on their attacks, that they're so disconnected from each other. If the push is going to be focused on taking things down from above, if it's going to be focused on that vertical play, then just sit your Monty like right here, okay? Have him sitting in the doorway, have him be nice and safe. Don't let him throw all the ways over here where he can get into a gunfight and die, or have somebody with him to go for that trade so they can eventually get the refrag back on, Dexter, not Benji Mula. In either case, bit of a fumble from Xset that caused them to go down early in this game. They brought it back eventually, as we all know, but still not necessarily the way they wanted this round to go.
It's just kind of like, hey, have you ever considered what happens if you try to win a gunfight? Oh, hey, have you ever considered having a weapon to do that with?
It helps.
Has that ever come up?
Play Blitz. Well, I guess you can't in that position, but you know what I mean.
I mean, what? Like, Blitz is just you sprinting at people with a wall. Like, that's basically already a weapon, yeah.
I mean,
play Blackbeard.
Isn't Monty a wall itself? I don't know. I think
Monty can go fast.
As you mentioned it, like the Monties are ahead of each other, or ahead of the team, but I do think it's on like the players behind the Monty. The Monty can only see forward. So everyone, like the entry that is supposed to be behind the Monty can't be in Master, can't be far back in Astro. Like you need to be with the Monty. And at the same time, or communicate to Spirits, hey, I need you to slow down.
Exactly. Let's take a look at another replay. This one goes well for Mirage as well. It's round at number 7. Some good post-plant play for them as well. Who wants to break this one down?
I did the last one, not me.
I can do part of this, if only because this is just an example of Xset almost having something and then Mirage really clawing it back from the depths. The problem is all of the Toxic Babes have missed Benji, who's trying to plant or secure this plant down back behind the vault door. It doesn't get him. This next one actually will, and Benji's about to take a whole bunch of HP damage. Yaga will finish the kill off with this. But now from down below, Kento is actually about to be the lifesaver of this round because that's a soft floor where the diffuser's been planted. And what does he bring to the table? A skeleton key be that makes it impossibly easy to defend it from below, which is exactly what he goes to do. Now, when Diaz tries to move in and get this counter defuse off, he's looking for the best position to long arm it that he can, but you only have so much of a radius that you can do that from, and Buck is still downstairs, which means Spirits is going to try and engage him from the bottom of red stairs. It's a back and forth battle that ultimately Spirits is not able to do fast enough, because as soon as he moves back up, he does get the Buck from downstairs. Melted on 2 HP is already sitting at the top of Study, and as soon as that happens, there's no chance for Spirits to come back and get the counter defuse in time, and Melted even finishes it off for good measure.
Wow.
Yeah, I think a bigger problem though with the post plants that Xset played was there was a lot of panic, like by one player, or there wasn't like a set idea on what was supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
Whereas if we watched like the DZ games earlier, everyone calmed down, they reassessed the round, and then okay, then they would slowly progress as a team. Whereas Xset, one guy would find out, oh my God, there's a guy on red stairs, and then someone's still in sight. So there was a huge disconnect on their retakes, I think. Compared to other teams.
The only rounds that Xset lost on defense were the retakes, was when the kit went on the ground. So I mean, at least there might be something specific they can focus in on for the next game that of course will be played tomorrow, but yeah, something to watch out for.
Yep, that's right. So a narrow Xset victory, but still a lot to work on. If you want to be back in that caliber to get to the major, to get farther than the semifinals, you know, they said their goal, jokingly, was to lose in the finals of the next one. Maybe they can even win it. They got to put it together a little bit. Meanwhile,
their goal was getting to the finals in the first place.
That's right, yeah. But they said specifically go and lose so that they can go and win SI then. That's their trajectory. A bit better each time,